Yes, everyone, very good evening. So, in this session, we are going to discuss about share capital. So, what exactly share capital? So, when we talk about a public company or a private company, definitely both companies have share capital. Okay, both companies should, legally there is a sanction of, having a share capital for a company. So, a share capital is what exactly? So, it is what the money raised by issue of shares. So for a private company, they can issue the shares to the internal members. That's it, internal members. So that is 2 or maximum 200 members. Okay, but for a limited public limited company, it is we can offer an invitation to the general public, not to the members. Okay, members can also take qualification shares, but general public, we can make an IPO, initial public offer, initial public offer in different stock exchange like NSE, National Stock Exchange, BSE, Bombay Stock Exchange, Sensex. I mean, like, Sensex is what exactly the rating of the stocks. So in Sensex also, our stocks will be our stock, you know, up and downs will be visible. Then other stock exchanges, which I have mentioned, more than 200 local stock exchanges are also there in India. Okay, so major stock exchange are again NSE and BSE, and so a company limited by shares can issue shares. So the share capital of a company can be classified in several heads, like nominal capital, nominal capital, or it is called as a registered capital. It is called as a registered capital. So in the memorandum of a company, there will be provision for the maximum capital which the company can collect by through issue of shares. So this capital is known as authorized or nominal, or registered capital. So as per the memorandum of association, the company should be stipulated to take or offer certain amount of shares. So that is called as a nominal capital. It is capital C. Okay, it is nominal capital or authorized capital or registered capital. At the time of registration, we will give. Not all companies will mention all these things in you know uh, memorandum of association. If a company is mentioning that we have only a provision of 500 shares, and each par value of each shares is 500 rupees, then that company can only sell or offer invitation for 500 shares. Beyond that, they are not supposed to do. Okay, all right. Next is um, yeah. If they are not very good question. If they are not mentioning, that is called as implied means, if it is a public limited company, generally public limited company can offer uh, invitation for subscribing shares to the public. So there is no such limitations. It is implied that there is no limitation. If they are mentioning, definitely there is a limitation. That is called as a nominal or authorized or registered capital. Hope I have answered to your question. Sahil? Implied means what exactly? Implied consent. I hope you know about implied consent. Implied means without orally or written, is called as implied. Okay, it should be like a consider as the company can go up to the capital level. Capital level. So have an example. If I am starting a 5 crore company, so I have to pool the capital. So it is implied that I can go ahead with the 5 crore of a capital. 5 crore capital. Okay, if my capital is 5 crore and I am restricted to offer shares up to 1 crore, then it is nominal capital. When if I am giving or mentioning those things in the memorandum of association. All right. So if I am mentioning all those things in memorandum of association, then it is restricted. Okay, the invitation to offer to subscribe the shares is restricted. Very good question. Please ask these kind of questions, or what kind of no, it doesn't matter, you can ask some questions. So next is like issued capital. So what exactly issued capital? So it is the aggregate nominal value of shares which are offered to the public for subscription is called as a issued capital. Nothing, it is what exactly the total number of shares which is offered to the total number of shares offered to the public is called as issued share. It is already issued, right? It is issued. So it is called as issued capital, not share. Issued capital. Okay. So total number of shares offered to the public is called as issued. Already it has been issued. Next, the third one is subscribed capital. Hope you know about subscribe. Who is subscribing the share? Who is subscribing the share? Members in the company is subscribing the share. Okay. So we are talking about share capital. Okay, share capital. Pooling of asset. Pooling of money for the asset. Capital asset for the oh, okay, fine. Money for the initial capital of a company is called as share capital. All right. So what do you mean by subscribed capital? So it is that part of the issued capital which is taken up by the public. Okay. Uh, so that is what it is that part of the issued capital which is taken up by the members. Sorry, members is called as a subscribed capital. All right. So next, the fourth one is called up capital. So what do you mean by called up capital? So it is the aggregate of the amount called up on the share actually subscribed. So called up is like it is the total amount of shares which is already subscribed by whom? Members, which is already subscribed, is called as a called up capital. And the fifth one is paid up capital. We only know about those things, right? Paid up capital. So what is paid up capital? It is the part of the subscribed capital which is paid up by the shareholders. Okay, which is paid by the shareholders. Okay. So if I am paying for MR of shares, definitely that is called as a paid up capital. The MR of getting a paid up capital. If I am buying one share for 85,000 rupees, then it can be considered as a paid up capital. Okay, because a shareholder has paid for taking that share. Okay. So it is what exactly? It's a part of subscribed capital, which is paid up by the shareholders. Okay. Next, the sixth one is uncalled shares. Uncalled shares. So it is that part of subscribed capital which is not at called up. It is called as uncalled shares. So it's a subscribed capital and which is not at called up. Called up means, which is not included in the public offer, but it is a subscribed share, which is in the hands of the members, but members are not ready to sell it out. Okay. Called up shares is already which is in the IPO. That is called as a called up shares, which is already in the IPO for inviting the public to subscribe it. All right. So seventh one is reversed capital. So one mistake I made. It is not a share. Okay. It is capital. Uncalled capital. Okay. Reversed capital. What do you mean by reverse capital? So this is that part of uncalled capital which can be called only at time of winding up of a company. Okay, that is called as a reversed capital. So which is so if there is a reverse capital which can be called up or which can be called only at the time of winding up. So company will definitely uh, take it back from the subscribers. That is called a reversed capital. So reverse capital, the members cannot offer it for a public subscription. because reverse capital can be, there is a provision like a reverse capital only, uh, they can possess with the subscribers. I mean, like the members can only possess the reverse capital until and unless the company call for a wind up. That time they can, redeem that share. I mean, like redeem that, redeem that shares, and they can, move out from the company. So that is called as a reverse capital. So this is what exactly we learned about a nominal capital, issued capital, subscribed capital, called up capital, then paid up capital, uncalled capital, and reverse capital. All right. So don't think every company have all the 7 type of a capital. Never. It is the company's discretion or the demand of the business or demand taken by the, I mean, like it is the decision taken by the management or decision taken by the directorial board as per the strategic decision making. Okay. So some company may not have reverse capital, so that the subscribers cannot hold a reverse capital. So maybe most of the companies have paid up capital. Understood. Then most of the companies have subscribed capital, and all companies have issued capital. All right, issued capital. And nominal capital is only the provision in the books of law. Okay. But no companies will do such things, because it is actually, company will become, confined to certain area. That means company doesn't have a freedom to sell their shares if they go for a nominal or registered capital. All right. So this is called as share capital. All right, share capital. Next, we can learn about shares. We can learn about different types of shares. So what do you mean by shares? Okay, what are the different types of shares? All right. So what is share? So share is the share in the share capital of a company. Okay. Share. So it is very wide definition, right? Share is the share in the share capital of a company. Okay, share is the share in the share capital of a company. So share means a portion of the amount which is contributed by the members of the company, subscribers of the company, the subscribers of the shares, to contribute at the time of capital formation. That is called as share capital. So share is the share in the share capital. So the capital of a company is divided into certain indivisible units of a fixed amount, and such units are called as shares. So the share or shares of a member in a company shall be a movable property. Why? The share can be transferable, and shares can be uh, you know uh, transmissive also. Okay. So easy of transfer is the major advantage of a share. So transmission of shares, That means if X, a shareholder, has died, his lineal descendant will get that shares, right of that shares. Okay, so that is called as a share. So share is a movable property. Okay, share is a movable property. So types of shares. So what are the different types of shares? So as per the Company Act 2013, so authorizes issues of two types of shares. So they are preference shares and equity shares. I hope you know about all those things. Equity shares. Okay. So preference shareholders, um, I mean, like they will get a certain amount of money every month as like a salary. Okay, as like a salary. Okay, but equity shareholders, they will get the share. If the company is getting more profit, definitely that will reflect uh, in the earnings of an equity shareholder. Okay, that will definitely reflect in the uh, equity shareholder. And if the company is going down, the equity shareholders, that will also reflect in the equity shareholders income. He will get only the amount or the profit amount or profit dividend of the company. If the company goes down, definitely what happens, it will affect the shareholders income also, equity shareholders income. But what about preference shareholders? A definite income or a static income will get every month. Okay, per annum, a static income will there, even though the company goes up, even though company comes down. But what about equity shareholder? That is called as equity shareholders are called the risk bearers. Okay, risk bearers. So they are taking the risk. You know about the mutual funds. So you are investing in mutual funds. Definitely, there are risk. That's why there is a statutory disclosure. Mutual funds are, you know, having a high chance of a risk. Okay, subject to risk. So if you are investing in mutual fund, definitely they will invest in equities. All right. So these are the two types of shares. But we can divide preference shares into different types. We can divide preference shares into different types. What are the different types of preference shares? One is cumulative preference shares. Cumulative. So what is cumulative preference shares? So actually the holders of the cumulative preference shares have a right to claim fixed dividend in all years. Right to claim the fixed dividend. So in a particular year there is no profit. The preference shareholders can claim that year's profit out of the next year's profit. Okay. So the dividend payable on these share goes on accumulating till it is fully paid off. All right. So cumulative preference shareholders, if the company is in loss in 2022, but you know I'm a preference shareholders, so every year I would get certain lump sum of money. Lump sum means a definite amount of money. That means monthly income I will get it cumulatively. I will get it at the end of the year. All right. But due to certain situation, company was in loss, and what exactly, company haven't given any amount this year, but on the next year 2023, company become green, and so the preference shareholders has the right to claim, if he's taken cumulative preference share, definitely the company has to give the previous year expected, you know profit amount in the sense like expected, uh, you know dividend to the cumulative preference shareholders plus the current year dividend as well, is called as cumulative uh, share, I mean like a preference share. Next, the second one is non-cumulative. Non-cumulative. So what do you mean by non-cumulative? So the non-cumulative preference shareholders are entitled to get a fixed dividend out of current year profit. So if a particular year there is no profit, we cannot expect the same like cumulative preference shareholders get. Those privilege won't be get to the non-cumulative. They cannot claim the dividend in the next year. That is called as a non-cumulative preference share. The third one is participating preference shares. Participating preference shares. What is participating preference shares? So the holders, actually shareholders of a participating preference shares, are not only entitled to fixed the rate of dividend, but also to share in the surplus of profit which remain after the claim of equity shareholders met. That is called as a residue of the surplus. Have an example. All preference shareholders will a definite income. Definite means a static income or a defined income. Have an example. Every month I will get 10 rupees. Even though company comes down or company goes up, as a participating preference shareholder, I will get a definite income plus a surplus of the profit, which is the residue which is being given to the equity shareholders, and then the surplus, if any surplus is there, one dividend I will get from the company. That is called as a participating preference shares. After catering of the equity shareholders, if there is any profit surplus, then definitely it will share it to the participating preference share in lieu with a definite income. So definite income is there plus a surplus. Surplus is what? There is a condition. The surplus will be given after attaining the claim of the equity shareholders are met. All right. So next one is, the fourth one is non-participating. Non-participating. So what do you mean by non-participating? There is no such privileges to those non-participating shareholders. The surplus, even though there is a surplus after the equity shareholders needs are met, it won't come to non-participative preference shareholders. So holders of non-participating preference shares are entitled to a fixed rate of dividend. That's it. And they do not share in the surplus profit of the company along with the equity shareholders. Next is convertible preference shares. Convertible preference shares. So the holder of these shares have a right to convert them into equity shares within a certain period. So there is a provision. So if you are taking a convertible preference shares within certain period of time, we can if our mind changes, we can change it into equity shares. Non-convertible. So non-convertible have no right to convert share into equity. Okay, so all 1 to 4 are non-convertible shares. Okay, so next we have to learn about equity shares, right? So equity, I have just given a brief of equity shares and preference shares. So equity shares are those which are not preference shares. So equity shares do not carry any preferential right. It may be with voting rights, of with a differential right as to dividend or voting. So those who having the equity shares, definitely they will have a dividend differential right. So equity share having, they don't have any preferential right, as I said. So it may be with the voting rights or with the differential rights as to be dividend or voting. So definitely equity shareholders may, if they take certain amount of equity shares, definitely they will get a voting right also. But preference shares, even though if you are taking more preference shares, you won't get any voting rights. You won't get any voting rights. So yeah, this is the end of share capital and shares. So one more thing that you have to learn is a sweat equity. Sweat equity shares. The same, the name itself explains about the meaning of a sweat equity. So section 288 of Companies Act 2013 defines the expression sweat equity. So sweat equity shares means equity shares issued by the company to its employees or directors at a discount or for consideration other than cash, for providing know-how or making available rights in the nature of intellectual property right, etc. If you are a good employee, definitely you will get sweat equity. Have an example, if a guy have an example, if I am working in a company and I invented something which helps uh, um the manufacturing firm to manufacture double the times. Okay, then as a reward, I will get some shares. So that is called as a IPR, intellectual property rights. If I invent something, then I will get some equity shares as part of my incentives or perks, perquisites. Okay, perquisites, etc. So it is a motivational thing. All right. So I am just stopping it here right now. So in this lesson, we learned about share capital and different types of shares. Thank you so much.